Very interesting there in Kenya. And of course, Angola is also a country that just finished its elections. We're still following up on further developments from there. But let's go to Zambia, where over 1,000 people are threatened with having their houses demolished in Luano Ward, Nchanga Constituency in Chingola on the Copperbelt. Facts on the matter are that a private company, Mapalo Quarries, is claiming ownership of a 95-hectare piece of land where the houses have been constructed.
According to Nchanga Member of Parliament, Derek Chilundika, the aforementioned land houses a police post clinic and a mini hospital, which also might be affected as the company has plans of demolishing structures in claiming back the land. Meanwhile, Luano Ward Councillor Ivan Sempito has appealed to the government to quickly resolve the matter as people in the area are in panic that their structures will be demolished.
Chingola District Commissioner Rafael Chimupi says the affected families will receive 1,000 Zambian kwacha each, which is about $62.28. And well, you know, those are parts of the conversations that we're going to be having this morning. We are now joined this morning by the coordinator, Zambia Network for Human Rights Defenders Advocacy, Amitage Mumbwali. Thanks for your time. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Very well. This is a very sad incident, you know, happening there in Zambia, and we would like to get your view on the effect this development has on the victims. And do you maybe also think the compensation given to them is in any way enough?
Thank you very much. It's very true that this is a very sad development. And if you look at Chingola, Chingola is about 410 kilometers away from the capital city of Zambia. And then you realize that Chingola is a mining city where we mine our copper, and it has an estimation of about 210,000 population. So the notice was given to these affected families about 28 days on 15th of February 2022. So usually the government gives this notice if they're about to demolish your houses. You know, this government has laws and regulations on land. So the affected families were given warning, and they were challenged that they don't have permission for development on that land. So the law that was being effected at that time was actually Section 49 of subsection 1 and 2 of the Urban and Regional Planning Act number 3 of 2015 of the laws of Zambia. So really, it is something that was legally implemented.
So the government, if what you're saying is the government was acting in a legal manner by, you know, ensuring that these victims had to leave, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Now let's talk about, I mean, of course, we know it must be a really tough time for these people who are at a crossroad. Could there probably have been another option that the government might have had in dealing with matters like this? Also, do you does the government make provision in the cases where there are people? I mean, we're talking about the land that houses a hospital, a mini hospital, a police post, and there are lots of people who will be rendered homeless as a result of this demolition. Are there situations where the government maybe provides alternatives, such as a makeshift apartment? You know, in this case, is there any such provision?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good question. But you look, the Zambian law, they do not allow illegality on the land. Their belief is that if you build on an illegal land, you don't own anything. That is not your property. The money that you are investing there, you are just throwing it in the river because you are building on an illegal place. So that is not even yours. Your money, everything goes to waste. So the alternative would have been, in a best scenario, government should have given a reallocation of land to the citizens and give them another opportunity to develop on another land. But this law just prevents people from being lawless and prevents people from encroaching other people's land. We have 3 types of land in Zambia: the customary land, the state land, and the privately owned land. So people have a procedure that they're supposed to acquire this land. So the only alternative government would have done is to give them another land, which in this case, if the illegality included also the people not understanding what they were doing as an illegal activity, so government is not obliged actually to compensate these people. This is the unfortunate part of the law. Okay. If you look at the DMMU, it never meets people's demands. No matter how little, no matter how much the money they will allocate, it will never meet people's demands whose houses were demolished.
Shouldn't it have been a situation where the government should not in the first place have allowed them build on an illegal property rather than allowing them build and then years later coming to demolish these properties and then causing more damage? Shouldn't this be a time where we should be looking into conversation of the government following through from the process of, you know, when the building started? You obviously did not take 1 year or 6 months for all of these structures to be erected on that land. Shouldn't that be a conversation we should be looking at?
I absolutely agree with you. But the situation is this. The government gives you land using the right procedure. But the question is, was there a right procedure? Were people given the permission? Was government not warning these people? So you realize that the best solution for this case is doing a judicial review and arrive at who gave them this land. I also agree with you. If the government is giving illegal land to the poor citizens, and the following day they come and say, we are grabbing your property and we are destroying, for me, I actually feel that is a very serious injustice and unfairness. But this law states that every time you want to acquire land, you're supposed to have permission. You're supposed to have a planning permission. You're supposed to be given authority to go ahead. In any case, it's very unfair that people are allowed by the same government. So maybe the best way to actually advocate is for a new law that is going to punish also the government officials, government institutions, even the government itself for giving land illegally, and later on they come and say, we are going to destroy your property on the land that you built, which we gave you, which we allowed you. So the development process they were watching and they didn't prevent that. So I agree with you that maybe we need a judicial review. Maybe we also need to amend and, you know, destroy this gap between within the law so that people are able to be compensated when they have been given land by the same government that is claiming that this is an illegal land.
All right. Quickly, if you can, in 30 seconds, what's, you know, the possible succor that can be provided for these people? Your organization and, you know, the people that you've also spoken with. Is there any relief that can be brought to these persons that are going to be affected?
At the moment, it's very difficult to promise any relief. The presumption is that the previous government was so lawlessness, they had lawlessness and was so illegal in its activities. So to some extent, you realize this new government is promising the rule of law. And so they are promising to punish people that offended the law. So the presumption is that people intentionally built even when they were being warned. So the only help that can be given is maybe from civil societies that are feeling that they can do humanitarian support. Otherwise, there's no guarantee and standardized support for people that commit offenses against the law.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. We hope that something is done about this. I'll be following up with the updates there in Zambia. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Absolutely.
Now we head over to Libya, where they are witnessing a struggle between two competing governments for power since the failure of parliamentary and presidential elections scheduled for 2021. Over 30 people have been killed in the recent clash, 17 of which are civilians. Now residents fear an escalation in the month-long stalemate, I beg your pardon.